Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland, and in this video I'm going to tell you about the standard British accent. That's the one that I speak with. This accent is most commonly found in the southeast corner of the United Kingdom. I'm not even from the United Kingdom, but this is the way I happen to speak. Now, despite people with this accent being concentrated in southeast England, they're a minority even there. And I shan't hazard a guess at the percentage, because of course the accent can't be defined precisely. People have versions of it, and people adopt different influences from other accents as well. So one can't be strict about it who exactly counts as having this accent and who doesn't. One can only be approximate. But there are people throughout the UK and overseas who speak this way. Right, so more about the standard British accent. It's less distinct as it was, than it was. People used to have a more decidedly upper class accent and pronounce things in ways which come across as droll these days. And people who speak that way is possibly studied, although in the older generation, no, that might be natural for them. Right, so try and give some examples of the lexis as well as the pronunciation. Saying pudding, that's what people have after their main course, like ice cream or cake or something like that. Not saying dessert. You'd see faces around you fall if you said that one. So I'm not being judgmental saying one is better than the other, one is wrong or something. And snobbery can be ridiculous, contemptible, distasteful, because people shouldn't be looked down on because they choose a certain word. And indeed, there's some scorn and hostility towards this accent. Some people think those who speak this way are up themselves, as the expression goes, and feel withering contempt for everybody else, and that sort of thing, that they're out of touch, they're overprivileged. Ironically, people who speak standard British would occasionally use other phrases like afters for pudding, because they'd be borrowing that from Cockney, the working class accent of London and southeast England. So long vowels are a distinctive feature of this variety of English, and one of the best examples is auction as opposed to auction. So as when they're selling things off, bidding to buy things, it's an auction rather than auction. Or indeed court, as opposed to cot, the past tense of catch, because if you said cot, it's like a cradle, what an infant sleeps in. Saying dance, it's a fairly long A, as opposed to dance, which would be a Northern English way to say it. However, a generation or two ago, it would have been much longer, like dance, which to most people now seems comical or false. Now, a word we don't say very often, and this is perhaps ironic, is mal. There you have a short, sharp A, a falling A, as in Pall Mall. There's a street in London, there are lots of private members' clubs along there, the Oxford and Cambridge Club and so forth. There's the Mall. The Mall is the avenue that leads from Trafalgar Square to Buckingham Palace. And when there's a state visit to the United Kingdom, the president or monarch of whichever country goes with Her Britannic Majesty on a ride in a horse-drawn carriage. What a treat for that foreign head of state. But anyway, that street's called the Mall. So here's an exception where a short vowel is pronounced rather than a long vowel, because of course in the United States it'd be mall. I find it's chiefly Americans who watch these videos, which is why I choose to draw that particular comparison, or I should say point out that contrast to be more accurate. So what's a mall in the United States is known as a shopping centre in the British Isles. Likewise, we also say a shop for a place that sells things, for an emporium, whereas in the United States people usually say store, and in the UK a store is where things are kept. Think of the verb, they are stored there, like a storeroom, something of that nature. All right, so being informal, and that was an example, all right, while speaking standard British English is completely acceptable if the situation dictates that. saying cheers instead of thanks, like goodbye. And again, that's something that's been adopted from the Cockney accent. It's not just the accent, I suppose, it's the vocabulary. So standard British English might be seen to be stilted by some people, but it does have its own argot. Right, another distinction is pronouncing the TH. Okay, so I think that's enough on this accent for the moment.